Hi everybody, and thanks for joining me today. So working some more on leaves. Yeah, working closer towards the peahen's wing feathers, but not quite there yet. So I had a leaf going this way, then I have more leaf shapes kind of going the other way, so I've been working from the bottom up here for the last bit. Okay. So yeah, I do some stitches from the bottom here, some from the top. They kind of meet in the middle. And I folded this one in half, but it wasn't properly lined up. Yeah, so we are actually having some unseasonably warm weather. Yeah, usually our cold snaps come in January, and right now it is actually above freezing, which is, yeah, like I said, really rare for us this time of year. So, like I often say, I would prefer if it would stay below freezing, not a lot, but enough that so the roads, the ice doesn't start to melt and refreeze, because yeah, it makes the driving more treacherous. And a lot of times the snow is packed down in layers, and then when it thaws a little, it gets soft enough that people driving through it kind of makes all these ruts, and then it freezes again with all the ruts in it. And so yeah, it's really rough. Yeah. And they don't do snow removal a lot here. Well, they kind of can't, right? Because it's always falling, and so they really only do it when it gets to be really bad, or there's so much they're worried about flooding is usually the biggest reason, because they actually have to truck it out of town. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, like I said, this one just kind of made sense to work along the bottom edge here. Oh yeah, I had a feeling that was wrong. There was a little too much resistance on the needle when I pushed it through the fabric, which meant I went through the fabric and not through the hole where it's supposed to go. So try that again. Yeah, like I often say, on this 14 count, if it's not covering properly, it's a lot more noticeable because I use 2 strands, and then if I'm doing 18 count, I also use 2 strands, but I can kind of get away with it a bit better then, because yeah, obviously the slightly smaller squares means gets a little bit better coverage. Yeah, I know some people actually like to use 3 or even 4 strands on 14, but yeah, I'm happy with 2. Yeah, it's just a matter of personal preference, but I don't like it when it's too thick. It can get uncomfortable on your fingers pushing the needle through. So yeah, so people always say, how many should I use? It's like, well, there's guidelines, but in the end it's really up to you and what you like. It's different people like different. Yeah, I use 2 on 18, but I know some people use only 1. I tried it, but it was a little thin for my taste. So, but yeah, some people prefer it, but I also like working with 2 strands because it makes loop starts really simple. There is a way to do loop starts with uneven number of strands, but yeah, means there's a couple extra steps. So yeah, so I remember talking about in previous videos how there was a big Canada Post strike going on in December, and then they were ordered back to work, and yeah, they said they would clear the backlog by Christmas, but that did not happen because I am still getting November bills. Yeah, ones that were mailed out in November. They have not caught up with the current billing cycle yet for most of them, so I had to stay on top of it myself with, yeah, I'd have to phone and get the balance and then pay it and make a note of it and all that. So, but Yeah, it's like I finally got some catalogs that were, you know, selling Christmas stuff, but it was well after Christmas by the time I got them. Yeah, so yeah, I kind of feel bad for the mail order companies. Yeah, that was a big blow for them. Like they said, they estimated like probably $1 billion were lost by small businesses because of it, especially because it was the end of the year. And that is when a lot of these smaller businesses make the bulk of their sales is for Christmas, right? So, yeah. Yeah, I was reading articles about it saying that actually going on strike this time may have actually hurt their bargaining position rather than helping it, because a lot of couriers cut their prices. And, you know, they say once people switch to something new, they often don't want to switch back. Yeah. Like they said, that was the reason why they tried to expand Target into Canada when Zellers went under. They bought a bunch of their old buildings and renovated them, but they said the problem was they shut them down during renovations, and they were shut down for months. And they said, so people went, of course, elsewhere. And they said, once people start shopping at a new place after 3 months, they generally don't change. Yeah, people like their routines. So, because they said what one company did was when Walmart bought out a lot of places, because they bought out Woolworths back in the 90s, and I think our Kmart's. I'm not sure if we have any of them anymore, but those stores, they would take over, and yes, they would renovate and change things, but they would stay open while they were doing that. And so people didn't go to a new place. And so, yeah, it was more inconvenient for people while they were renovating. And of course, it made the renovations probably take a little longer, but they retained that business. And they said that is really key. Oh, which end of this there? Didn't move the needle down far enough on the, yeah, on it there, and that kind of interfered with things. So yeah, I remember Target finally opened, but it was like, sheesh, at least where I live, almost a year after the Zellers closed. And yeah, I don't think they opened one here, actually, if I can't remember. I think the closest one was like Edmonton. We did go once when we were there, but yeah, they didn't last very long. So yeah, I have friends in the US who are really shocked. If you guys don't have Target? Yeah, no, we don't. Yeah, apparently they reopened some small little Zeller stores inside some of the big Bay stores, which I'm surprised is still around, but yeah. Because Zellers was like a subsidiary or whatever. Yeah. Zellers was like Canada's Walmart. So, yeah. I said I kind of nostalgic for them because that was where I got my first job that wasn't you know, paper route or babysitting. Was the first like actual official job that, you know, had to fill out paperwork for and everything, and, you know, actually pay taxes off your paycheck from right away and all that. So, yeah. It was just a seasonal holiday position where we went around tidying shelves and that. Yeah, because of course, especially at Christmas, shoppers often leave them a mess. So yeah, put things back where they belong and, you know, make them nice and tidy on the shelf and all that. And yeah. So yeah, I said kind of nostalgic, and like all my holiday stuff comes from Zellers. My my Christmas tree, because we use a artificial one, is from there. My big cookie platters from there. A bunch of the decorations I got were from there. So yeah. And yeah, it was nice because I remember in Nanaimo when I was growing up, they had a big clearance rack that was right at the entrance, and we would go there. And I remember I got a bathing suit there for $1. Yeah, it's been marked down and marked down and marked down, and then they finally had 50% off the lowest marked price, and it was $2. So yeah, I got it for $1. It was like, sweet. Yeah, we got some really good deals that way. Yeah, they've been closed for a while now. Sheesh, over a decade at least. Yeah. Yeah, quite a few Canadian chains have folded in the last few years. We had, I believe it was Mariposa Clothing is gone. I think Le Chateau is also gone, which is another clothing store. There was the Soapberry Shop, which was like the more generic version of like the Body Shop. Yeah, that's gone. There was House of Brussels Chocolates, which was again like the cheaper version of Purdy's Chocolates. They're also gone. Yeah, quite a few. The big chains. It's funny because I was naming that. I said Le Chateau, and my friend says, "Oh, come on, you're just saying it in French to make it sound more, more fancy or whatever, or Canadian, right?" And I said, "Well, no, that was the name. It's the house, but in French, yeah." Yeah, I think San is gone, and Fields. I'm not sure if they're still around, or they might only have a few stores left, but yeah. Yeah, well, a lot of our chains just can't compete with some of the international ones. I know, like Canadian Tire, which obviously is Canadian, apparently did try to expand into the US ones, but yeah, it was a bust. Yeah, it's funny. One of my friends says her dad insists on calling it Canadian Tires, which drives her nuts. Yeah. She says, it's on the store. It's called Canadian Tire. There's no S. He's like, well, why would you buy just one tire? She's like, I know, but that's not the name of the store. Yeah. I said, I have to be careful when I shop there. I can't wear my old company coat because it's black and red, and that's the Canadian Tire colors. And so, yeah, then people always think I work there. I get that at other stores when that's not the color, but yeah, that coat, for some reason, I said I need to sew a big patch on it that says I don't work here, because yeah, whenever I wear it, people think I work there. So when I shop, I often just take that jacket off and put it in the cart, so I'm not wearing it, because yeah. Yeah, I had one time I was at Walmart. It was after work, so I had my company ID on a lanyard around my neck, and I was buying a clipboard, and then yeah, some people saw me walking around carrying a clipboard and, like dress pants and stuff, and then yeah, they're all trying to get my attention, and then, well, we're going to report you to your manager. I'm like, well, good luck with that. He don't work here. Neither do I, I am just shopping. But yeah, I often have, especially older people seem to think I work there. But I mean, if I know where something is, I'll just tell them. Yeah. And I often do know where stuff is, so, because yeah, I have sort of the few select stores that I shop from, and I don't go to many other places. So, yeah, it's funny because my mom, she would always, like, she would drive across town to where bread was cheaper. She still does. And, like, we always kind of thought, but like, is it really that much cheaper if you consider the gas and stuff that it takes to get there? Like, yeah. Because I remember reading somewhere saying that what's best is to figure out where you buy most of your staple items, and then find out where that's the cheapest and sort of do most of your shopping there. Yeah. So like, your milk, bread, toilet paper or whatever. Yeah, you figure out where they sell those the cheapest and just do your shopping there, and instead of going to lots of different places, unless it's like a super good deal. But yeah, that's what I generally do. I have 2 grocery stores I go to because my main one, there's a couple things they don't sell that I buy regularly, so I go to another place for that. But otherwise, I do the bulk of my shopping in one at Superstore, especially because I get points. So yeah, I got over $1,000 worth of free food last year I earned with points. So, and I always say, like, it's for stuff I have to buy anyway, right? We gotta eat, so yeah. Yeah, when I went to get a credit card, I got theirs because they gave me 1% back in points for free food. So, like I said, it's stuff I'm going to buy anyway, so I figure why not. And actually, after I had it for a few years, they upgraded me, and now I earn 2%. So, double. So, yeah. So, yeah, I wonder how much I'll earn this year, because they switched me to that one about 6 months in. So, yeah, I earned a lot more points. And they'll have bonus events where, like, if you spend a minimum of $250, they give you, $25 worth of extra points and stuff. And it's like, so, yeah, I just wait till those show up, and then I do the big stock ups on things I need that aren't perishable. And then, like I said, stuff I needed anyway, so might as well get those extra points. Yeah, I said, I don't feel like a real adult, but then when I say I'm all excited that I gained a lot of points at the grocery store, then I kind of do. That's a grown-up thing, right? Yeah. Well, I earned enough to get myself a free bread mixer, a new set of frying pans. I've never paid for our soda stream machines. I always get them with points, so yeah. And then in Christmas, I use up all the points I have because, right, extra spending because of the holidays. So it's nice to have that little cushion of I don't have to pay for groceries that month pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, one of my husband's coworkers said she actually did that and saved enough that she got her kid an Xbox using points for Christmas. So, yeah, that was really nice. Oh, dear. I trimmed my nails, and I guess I missed a spot. It's a little rough, and it kind of caught the thread there. So, yeah, I was stitching more diagonally last time, but this time yeah, the colors went in a way that made it easier to just follow them and form this indentation, and now I'll work on filling it out. And then, yeah, the wing is going to curve out that way, so we'll end up more diagonal in that at that point. So yeah, when I started this channel, I was more, nope, I knew that did not seem right. I was more sticking to the diagonal, but yeah, over time I decided I'll follow the way the colors go, and it goes a little bit quicker, and it's still neat. So, because yeah, that was one of my big reasons for switching to parking, is I find when I don't leave gaps to fill in, my stitching was a little neater, and making fewer counting errors, because yeah, those are never fun. Oh, I didn't do all the way, just those two, yeah. Okay, oh, let me see. So I may actually do a floating stitch, because yeah, this one is long enough to do them all. So yeah, sometimes because I have some threads traveling up and some traveling down, this happens. So I try not to leave gaps, but every now and then it just kind of, it's more trouble than it's worth to try to avoid leaving gaps, so then I don't. Yeah, pardon me. My throat is a little scratchy today, so. Yeah, the last couple of days wasn't very fun. I think we caught norovirus, which is like, the fortunate thing is it passes very quickly, but while you have it, yeah, it's extremely unpleasant. Can't keep anything down, and oh. I had it, and then I thought, okay, good. Looks like no one else caught it. And then once I got better, my son caught it. So I was like, darn, poor thing. Yeah. Had to give him lots of Pedialyte and rest. But like I told him, if it's the same one that I had, then you'll probably feel fine by tomorrow. And yeah, he did. In fact, within a few hours, he was able to have some crackers and stuff, and those stayed down. So yeah, but it was pretty brutal. I said he was lucky he wasn't dizzy, because I said, yeah, mine was really bad. The room was spinning. I had to keep my eyes closed all the time because, yeah, otherwise that made me feel even worse. Yeah. So, yeah, wash your hands often and well. I mean, I do, and sometimes you can't avoid it, but it will reduce your chances of catching it. Yeah, because apparently it's going around right now, and it's quite nasty. Yeah, lots of these pin stitches here. Yeah, it doesn't look like many colors, but there actually are quite a few there, providing that shading. So that means a lot of ends that have to get buried. Yeah, so I've been continuing to work on a blanket for my father-in-law. I'm about halfway done the squares. I'm working on square 10 out of 20. I measured them, and 4x5 looks like it'll make a good size blanket. And but I also have to stitch the border on afterwards. Well, you don't have to, but I kind of like how it looks. Yeah, because it uses up a lot of different colors, and it's half white, half a mix of colors. So I like to sort of use white around the borders, just sort of to tie it all together. So. But yeah, like I often say, I don't knit as much. I mostly knit during figure skating, because I do watch that. Yeah, the Canadian Nationals are coming up soon. There's 4 continents, Europeans, and then Worlds. So. Yeah, it's amazing. The guys are doing quad axles now, which is just, I wasn't sure that was physically possible. My husband said, will they ever do, like quintuple jumps? I said, I think we're getting to the limits of what's physically possible. But I mean, who knows? I remember watching quads sort of become a thing. Yeah. Like in the 90s, doing a triple double was a big deal. And yeah, now that's not even competitive, It's wild. Okay. So yeah, we had a little gap, but now it's all filled in. Yeah, so I got a bit of pink up at the top where the flower petals are. Well, I'm not really going to be working on that today because, yeah, we have, like I said, there's leaves going up this way for a bit. So I'm going to fill that in, then fill up the top, and then we will be moving on to the colorful wing feathers. Not as colorful as the peacocks, but yeah, her feathers do have quite a lot of shading. It's more confetti heavy, so that will get interesting. Yeah, so there were people showing their stitching setups in a Facebook group, and somebody had their elbow rest is a squishmallow, and I'm like, oh, that's such a good idea, because I have a stack of pillows, but sometimes I sort of have to fold up an extra towel or something on top to get a little extra thickness for when I'm working further in. And so yeah, I went and bought myself my own squishmallow. Just a little one. He's a flat little like penguin. Yeah, he's really cute. It was funny because I was buying it and the clerk thought I was buying it for me. Oh, your son likes penguins. I'm like, yep, but actually it's for me. Yeah, because they see us there. He still likes to go grocery shopping with me. Yeah, I thought he'd be too cool for that by now, but yeah, he still does. And I said, well, you know, in a few years he's going to be gone. So, yeah. If he wants to spend time with me, I'm going to enjoy that. Okay, just making sure there was no loops or lumps back there. Yeah, sometimes with all these ends from the pin stitch, it can be hard to feel just to make sure. I like to sort of swipe my finger along the back every now and then, make sure there's no big knots or snarls that I missed. Yeah, so I did the math. If I manage to get to 190,000 completed, that'll be like 62% around abouts. So yeah, we're closing in on 2/3 done, but I'm probably not going to get that until, I would say, you know, March sometime. That will be exciting. Like I said, I may finally get a 0 in this pass. It's been a long time coming. Yes, I was knitting that blanket, which is like, it looks like an old log cabin quilt squares. Yeah, I'm also knitting a lace one, and I had made the pattern before, so I started knitting it again, and I said, oh, now I remember why I didn't make this pattern again. It actually is uncomfortable for my hands because it's so many decreases in a row. Yeah. So I've been sort of kind of picking it up, knitting a row, then leaving it for a while, and yeah, it'll be done, but not for a while. But again, not on a deadline. Yeah. I just like to have one in progress for something to do, and I keep completed ones in my closet. They make good gifts for friends and stuff, yeah. Yeah, when one of my friends finished renovations on their house, so they had a housewarming party, and so, yeah, I brought her over a blanket, which she was very happy with. Yeah, when my son was in elementary school, every year I made a blanket for his teacher. But yeah, once he got to high school, like, that can't happen because you got like 6 teachers. Yeah, I would never be able to keep up. I remember there was a while where it seemed like everybody in my family and friends group was having babies, and it was like, no, slow down, I can't keep up. Yeah. Yeah, I have knit baby booties and stuff, but I like blankets because they last for longer, right? Yeah, like I still have a blanket that I think my great aunt made for me. Yeah, my grandpa's sister. Yeah, and all of the great grandkids got one, and even the great great grandkid, mine, who's the oldest, got one. Yeah, he still has it. Yeah, she has since passed away, so it's nice to have something she made. Okay. Yeah, there is more of this color up here, but I'm going to start a new thread and carry it down rather than work my way up with this one. That's just what I feel like doing. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. Okay, But yeah, we got some bigger blocks, as you can see here, so that should have us zipping along for a bit. Okay, same thing. I can see there's going to be sort of a line of stitches down there, and this is a fairly long way to carry. So actually, I'm going to carry it up here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So that's closer anyway. Just makes more sense. Don't need to tie it off, so. Okay. Yeah, so to finish by the end of the year, I have to do about 11,000 a month, so we'll see. Some months I manage that and some I don't, so yeah. I might not. If not, it will be done early of next year. Yeah. Oh my. Yeah, like I said, getting back into the routine after the holidays. Tiring. Yeah, before we know it, it's going to be runny time change again the spring ahead. Ugh. I mean, I don't enjoy either of them, but that one is definitely the worst one. Yeah. Yeah, although the one nice thing will be more daylight hours because, yeah, I do have lighting to help, but stitching by natural light is still my preferred. Gives the best lighting without eye strain, so. I find it's best for filming too. It shows up best on camera with the colors nice and true in the natural light, so. Oh, look at that, I think. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, yeah, I did that too high up. I actually, what I did, oh, that's not a problem. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. I can fix that. Yeah. I bet some of you saw. Yeah, I went 2 from the grid line instead of 3, which was not correct. The colors are close. I probably could just leave it, but nah. I've already started ripping out, so I'm kind of committed now. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I get for not counting correctly and not double checking with my grid lines there. There we go. I should have realized as I started stitching this that it was wrong relative to that parked one, so one of those had to be a mistake. No worries. Like I said, these colors are really similar, and I probably could have just found a way to fudge it, but oh well. I think that's bringing up a fuzzy there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, back on track. Because then when I picked up this one, it went, hey, the stuff to the left of it is empty. Something is not right. Oops, did that one. Gonna meander a bit here. Past 100. We'll probably pass 200 this session because, yeah, there's going to be a whole bunch in a row here. It's all the same color. Oh, my goodness. My aim is off today. There we go. Keep on splitting the fabric where I don't mean to. Still a lot of this color left here, over 12,000 stitches of it. I like to sort of color in row by row as I go so I don't lose my place in these bigger blocks here. Oh, something's not right yet. Yeah, there's a snarl back there. Okay, there we go. Yeah, there was a big loop on the back because this got a little tangled. Definitely want to catch that before you stitch over it because, yeah, then it's in there good. Yeah, so I can see where the colors are starting to go the other way, and they're different colors. The symbols are different because that's where the wing starts. So we're gonna work up to and along the wing and then get to the wing itself later. That might be moving my frame over at that point too. We'll see how far my new Squishmallow armrest, elbow rest allows me to comfortably reach. I may have to not have to move the frame quite as often, which would be nice. 'Cause yeah, that part is kind of a pain. Yeah, so he's sort of a flat little penguin. I went and got the flattest one I could find. It's a smaller one, like a mini one, and yeah, it works really well. Nice and comfy. Okay, so since the thread is about to run out here, I may just stop working this color until I join up with, because it kind of branched off around another color here. So I may just sort of, yeah, rather than adding a new thread here now, I may just wait until I work my way down with another thread of that same color from the top. Yeah, I kind of actually round out at quite a convenient spot for once, which is always nice. So yeah, I don't mind if I end up with some kind of weird shapes every now and then. Eventually, they get filled in. Okay, so sounded funny sometimes. That can indicate that it's knotted up on the back. But no, it's nice and smooth there, so maybe it was threatening too, but released at the last moment. See how long this piece is. Oh, yeah. Decent length, so probably we're going to park rather than finish it. While till I get to that one, so gonna unthread it for now. Okay, I got a short piece for these ones up here. Perfect. Should probably, no, or not. Yeah, so this is where the color kind of comes that way, so I'm going to just finish this part and then I will start working that motif. So yeah, because I think that's where another sort of yeah, it's either a petal coming down from that flower at the top, or it might be the start of the wing. It's kind of hard to tell. I think it's the flower petal though, from looking at the picture here. Yeah, I got most of that flower was in the last pass, but there is a little bit that extended into this one. So yeah, this was the color I said I couldn't buy on a cone, 939, which surprised me because it's really common. So yeah, I have like 4 boxes of 12 skeins each. Yeah, in my inventory. Yeah. Now I bought a whole ton at once, so that way I don't have to worry about dye lots matching, especially since this color tends to be used in big blocks. So yeah, you really don't want a mismatch in dye lots. Yeah, they're supposed to not have to worry about that, but you know, it can still happen. So yeah, because I find some other colors, if they're sort of used more for confetti and scattered, if there's a slight variance in the dye lots, that's not a big deal. But yeah, if it's going to be in a big section, then it could be really noticeable. Yeah, I saw one where somebody had been stitching diagonally and they ended up with a big line through the sky because the dye lot had changed. And yeah, they ended up abandoning the project, which really sucked because they had put like a year's worth of work into it. So yeah, that was not good. Just feels unfair because it's not like it's anything they did, you know. Yeah, it was the material's fault. No way in the way they stitched caused that to happen. Yeah, they do say if you have a slight variance, you can do sort of one strand from each where it changes to kind of help blend it. But yeah, but again, yeah, bigger blocks unfortunately can be very unforgiving when it comes to variations in the color. Yeah, especially because some of the colors, they did change the dyeing process to make it more environmentally friendly, and they put a dot usually on those colors on the label of the colors to show you that the dyeing process has changed, so there could be a dye lot variance. But I mean, somebody might not know that till they run out and go and buy some more, and then, right, what are they going to do? Are they going to rip out all the stuff from the old one? That can be really hard to do. So yeah, because I think there's one color I have, I think it's 601, something like that. And yeah, it has a dot before the number because, and I was curious and looked it up, and yeah, it's because the dyeing process has changed. So fortunately, it wasn't a color I'd ever used before, so I don't have to worry about dye lot issues. But yeah, that could really suck for someone. Change positions here. Oh, just to keep myself comfortable. Oops. Oh yeah, we'll break 200, no problem. Sometimes what I'll do is sort of break up this by doing sort of some confetti along one edge and then a strand of this block and then more confetti and stuff to just kind of break it up, give my arms a little rest. Because yeah, I learned the hard way. If I don't do that, it can really hurt. Also another reason why sometimes I don't highlight sort of the whole big area. I stop and do a row at a time. That also kind of gives me a little break. It's not very long, but I find it can make a big difference, even those few seconds every now and then. Whereas if I just keep going. Yeah, I'd love to be one of those over 1,000 stitches a day people, but unfortunately that is just not going to happen. I could do it with enough free time and all that, but yeah, my arms would not appreciate it. Okay, so that's actually kind of perfect. There's enough here for sort of one stitch left, so I'm going to park it here because there's sort of one stitch kind of floating off by itself there. So I will leave that strand to do that stitch later after I've sort of filled in around it, because I don't like to leave the floating stitches. And then I will just start a new big strand for the rest of this color block. That is, yeah. Oh yeah, we're past 200 now, so like I said, that would be no problem. Okay, so right up to the grid line there. So yeah, I think by next session we may be on just ready to start the peahen's feathers. We will see. Yeah, because we're getting pretty close to that. If not next session, then I would say the session after for sure will be wing feathers. And then yeah, I think when we get to her chest is when I will get a 0. Woohoo! Will be exciting. So I think I'll stitch until this thread is done, and then that is where I'm going to take a break. That is wrong. Yeah. Yeah, especially with these dark colors on the white fabric. It's very unforgiving if you do that. Little gap really shows if I don't get the fabric pierced correctly. So yeah, again, talking about breaks, there's this one here. So I don't have to do it, but I'm going to stop and do it because sort of taking that break of switching, rethreading, and all that, it does help avoid my repetitive stress pain. So doesn't look quite right. Look at that. Yeah, 2 strands didn't pull through evenly. There we go. just cross-checking there with my grid lines. Because again, if I made a mistake stitching this and I'm parking based on the shape that's left on the fabric, if I did something wrong, I'm going to compound my error. So yeah, I'll sort of count from the stitching and then count from the grid lines to just double check that everything is the way it should be. So yeah, I know there's some people who don't like to stitch with a grid, but I personally wouldn't stitch without one because it makes catching my mistakes so much easier. It's funny because, yeah, one of my friends says, oh, it's so pretty and sparkly too, even though it's like, okay, but those lines are not going to be left in when the piece is completed. Yeah. I just use the shiny silver thread because, yeah, it shows up nicely, but you can use any color you want. They make a whole rainbow of colors for that sulky monofilament thread. Yeah. And people will often choose a contrasting color on purpose. Yeah, so if they're doing something that's mostly, you know, greens, they'll pick a red for their gridding thread or something like that, because then, yeah, it really pops. Makes it easier to see. I hate when it does that. Knot it up on me, just a tiny one, but once, the knot actually was on the back. You would think it has a half chance of being on the back when that happens, but I swear, it always ends up on the front no matter what. Okay. So yeah, I said finish off this thread. And that'll be it for today. Almost 250 stitches, so yeah. And I did start at 0 this morning, so like I said, with those big blocks of color, it definitely went nice and quick. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today, and hope to see you here next time. Thanks everyone. Bye.